The vast darkness of space stretched endlessly before the Coalition flagship, Stellar Dominance, broken only by the dim blue marble of Earth hanging in the distance. The ship's observation deck buzzed with activity as alien crew members moved purposefully between control stations, their scaled bodies reflecting the soft glow of countless holographic displays. Admiral Ta-1's tentacles swayed gently as he studied the main tactical display. His four eyes blinked in sequence, each one focusing on different data streams showing Earth's complete communication blackout. Where once the planet had blazed with countless electronic signals, now there was only eerie silence. The Admiral's skin shifted to a deeper shade of blue, a sign of satisfaction among his species. The massive viewing window offered a direct view of their target planet. Earth looked peaceful, almost serene, its oceans and continents clearly visible beneath swirling white clouds. But the Coalition's comprehensive cyber attacks had apparently brought this troublesome world to its knees. No more radio chatter, no satellite communications, no defense networks, just absolute silence. Captain Sun Mai approached the Admiral, her footsteps making a soft clicking sound on the polished floor. Unlike the Admiral, her species had evolved from avian ancestors, giving her a sharp, bird-like appearance. Her feathered crest rose slightly as she delivered her report. "The latest scans confirm it, Admiral," she said, her voice carrying a musical quality typical of her kind. "We're detecting no active power grids, no digital networks, no space-based communications. The humans appear to have completely lost their technological infrastructure." Tai-1's tentacles curled in pleasure. "Excellent. Supreme Commander Hainul will be most pleased with our success. The humans never saw it coming. Our virus programs worked exactly as designed." The bridge crew continued their work, monitoring various instruments and preparing for their approaching victory. The Coalition had spent years planning this invasion, carefully studying Earth's defenses and developing the perfect cyber weapons to cripple them. Now, it seemed their patience had paid off. Lieutenant Jin Ho, the youngest tactical officer on the bridge, approached the command platform. His crystalline body structure, typical of his species, caught the light and created rainbow patterns on the deck. Despite his youth, he had earned his position through exceptional analytical skills. "Admiral," Jin Ho said, his voice carrying a hint of uncertainty, "I've been reviewing the scan data, and something troubles me. The silence is too complete, too perfect. In my studies of human history, they've always shown remarkable resilience. Even after devastating attacks, they typically maintain some form of communication." Tai-1 turned all four eyes toward the young officer, his tentacles now perfectly still, a sign of mild annoyance. "Your concern is noted, Lieutenant, but unnecessary. Our intelligence is impeccable. The humans are a primitive species who relied too heavily on their digital infrastructure. Once we destroyed that, they were helpless." The Admiral moved closer to the viewing window, his reflection overlaying the image of Earth. "Look at their world, Lieutenant. Rich in resources, perfect for colonization. The humans were foolish to challenge the Coalition's authority in this sector. Now they will pay the price for their defiance." Captain Sun Mi joined them, her feathers slightly ruffled. "The invasion fleet is assembled and ready, Admiral. Shall I give the order to begin our approach?" "Proceed," Captain Ta-1 commanded. "Have the resource assessment teams prepare for deployment. Once we secure the major population centers, we can begin extracting Earth's valuable minerals and establishing our colonial operations." As the bridge crew carried out their orders, Lieutenant Jin Ho returned to his station, but his crystalline structure continued to pulse with worried colors. Something about this situation didn't add up, but he couldn't quite put his finger on what was wrong. The Coalition fleet began its advance toward Earth, their massive ships moving in perfect formation. Thousands of smaller vessels surrounded the capital ships, carrying troops and equipment for the ground invasion. They had planned for every contingency, prepared for any resistance the humans might offer. Admiral Ta-1 watched with pride as his fleet moved into position. After this victory, his name would be recorded in Coalition history as the commander who finally brought Earth under their control. The human silence was proof of their defeat, and soon their world would belong to the Coalition. As the fleet approached the outer edges of Earth's solar system, none of them noticed the small, encrypted quantum signals passing between seemingly abandoned satellites. Deep beneath Earth's surface, in hidden bunkers and secret facilities, other eyes watched the approaching armada. The Coalition's assumption of victory would prove to be their greatest mistake, but that revelation was still to come. The Admiral's tentacles swayed rhythmically as he imagined his triumphant report to Supreme Commander Haynul. Soon, very soon, they would begin their final approach to Earth. The silence of their target world was all the confirmation they needed. Humanity had fallen, and their prize awaited. What they didn't know was that silence can hide many things, and sometimes the quietest opponent is the most dangerous of all. 500 meters beneath the bustling streets of Seoul, humanity's greatest secret lay hidden from alien eyes. The underground complex stretched for kilometers in every direction, a marvel of engineering and human determination. Its vast halls and tunnels housed not just military facilities, but an entire city where millions of people now lived and worked in complete secrecy. General Kim Sang-hee stood in the heart of the command center, her eyes fixed on the massive quantum displays that covered the curved walls. The screens showed detailed tracking information of the alien vessels approaching Earth, each ship marked and categorized by their advanced detection systems. The soft blue glow from the displays cast shadows across her face, highlighting the determination in her eyes. Around her, hundreds of operators worked at their stations, monitoring everything from defense systems to life support for the underground city. The low hum of machinery and quiet conversations filled the air, punctuated by occasional beeps from the monitoring equipment. Despite the enormous pressure they were under, everyone moved with purpose and confidence. Colonel Park Do-hyun approached the command platform, holding a data tablet. His uniform bore the patches of both the Korean military and the new United Earth Defense Force, a symbol of humanity's unprecedented cooperation. General, the latest reports from our deep space sensors confirm it. The Coalition fleet is proceeding exactly as we predicted. Sang-hee allowed herself a small smile. 6 years of planning, Do-hyun. 6 years of letting them think their cyber attacks were working. While we built all of this, she gestured to the surrounding command center. How are the other underground cities reporting? All green, General. New York, London, Moscow, Beijing, Sydney. All facilities are fully operational and maintaining radio silence. The manufacturing centers are running at full capacity, and our quantum-shielded vessels are ready for deployment. The pair walked through the command center to a massive window overlooking one of the manufacturing halls. Below them, rows of sleek spacecraft sat ready for battle, their hulls incorporating technology reverse-engineered from scattered pieces of alien tech they'd managed to acquire over the years. Engineers and technicians swarmed around the vessels, performing final checks and adjustments. "Remember when this was just a crazy idea?" Sang-hee asked, her voice soft with memory. "When we first detected their surveillance satellites and realized what was coming." Do-hyun nodded. "Most people thought we were paranoid. But after we showed them the evidence, after we proved the aliens were planning to attack." He paused, watching a group of workers below guide a new weapon system into place. It's still amazing how quickly everyone came together. The general turned away from the window and walked to a different display, this one showing the network of underground cities and facilities that now house much of Earth's population. "We had no choice. We knew we couldn't match their technology head-on. But humanity has always been good at adapting, at finding unexpected solutions." A young lieutenant approached with a fresh report. "General, we're receiving updates from the lunar base. The Coalition fleet has passed Mars orbit. They'll be within strike range in approximately 48 hours. Sang-hee studied the new data carefully. "Very good. Begin final preparation sequences. Alert all facilities to stand by for Phase 2 of Operation Silent Shield." She turned to Du Yun. It's almost funny, isn't it? They think their cyber attacks forced us to go dark, when we've been deliberately feeding them exactly what they wanted to see. Pride comes before a fall, Du Hyun quoted, watching as the command center shifted into higher alert status. They were so convinced of their superiority that they never questioned why Earth went silent so completely, so perfectly. Another officer approached with a secure communication device. General, the council is ready for your final briefing. Saying he took the device and gestured for Du Hyun to follow her to the private briefing room. As they walked, they passed hundreds of civilians going about their daily lives in the underground city. Children heading to school, shopkeepers opening their stores, farmers tending to the hydroponic gardens that helped feed the population. Look at them, Sang he said proudly. 6 years underground, and they've adapted. They've built new lives here while we prepared. The aliens think they've defeated us, but they don't understand what humanity is capable of when we work together. The briefing room door closed behind them, sealing them in a secure environment. On the screens around them, the faces of military and civilian leaders from around the world appeared, each one representing a different underground city or military facility. Ladies and gentlemen, Sang he began, Operation Silent Shield is entering its final phase. The enemy has taken our bait. Soon, they'll learn that humanity's silence wasn't surrender. It was preparation for war. The cloaked observation post hung silently in space, its advanced stealth systems making it completely invisible to the approaching alien fleet. Inside the cramped command module, Commander Lee Yujin watched through reinforced windows as the massive coalition vessels moved into Earth orbit, their hulls gleaming in the sunlight. The observation post was one of hundreds scattered throughout Earth's orbital space, each one hidden by technology that humanity had secretly developed over the past 6 years. Yujin's post was positioned perfectly to monitor the aliens' approach vector, giving her team a front-row seat to what was about to unfold. They're not even trying to be careful, Nam Jisoo said from her communication station, her voice barely above a whisper despite the fact that sound couldn't travel in space. Look at their formation. They're completely exposed. Yujin nodded, studying the enemy fleet through both the window and her tactical displays. The coalition ships moved in tight groups, their formation more suited for a victory parade than a military invasion. Their confidence was clear in every aspect of their approach. They truly believed they were arriving to claim an already defeated world. Status report, Yujin commanded, her eyes never leaving the approaching fleet. All defensive systems are in standby mode, reported her weapons officer, Choi Min-ki. Orbital platforms are powered down but ready for instant activation. Ground bases confirm all systems are green. Through her viewport, Yujin could see Earth below, appearing peaceful and defenseless. The abandoned cities would look convincing to the alien scanners. Empty streets, dark buildings, no sign of the vast underground network where humanity now lived and worked. A slight vibration ran through the observation post as a particularly large alien vessel passed nearby. The ship was so close that Yujin could make out individual details on its hull, weapon emplacements, landing bays, and what appeared to be massive holding areas for the resources they planned to steal from Earth. They're beginning their preliminary scans, Jisoo reported, monitoring the alien communications. Still no sign they've detected any of our installations. Yujin allowed herself a small smile. Of course not. Everything is working exactly as planned. Our quantum shielding is perfect. They can't detect what they don't know to look for. The observation post crew worked in focused silence, each person monitoring their stations as the alien fleet spread out across Earth's orbit. Through the windows, they could see smaller vessels beginning to detach from the larger ships, probably survey craft preparing to examine their prize more closely. Commander Min-ki called out softly, "The coalition fleet is now fully committed to orbit. Their positions match our predicted deployment patterns almost exactly." "Almost too perfectly," Yujin mused, standing to get a better view. "Send the confirmation signal to command." Use the quantum channel only. Jisoo's fingers moved quickly over her console, sending the encrypted message through channels the aliens couldn't detect. The response came back almost immediately. Command acknowledges. They say to maintain observation and stand by for Phase 3 activation. More alien ships appeared over the horizon, their hulls catching the sun's light. Yu-Jin studied their movements carefully, noting how they positioned themselves above major cities and resource-rich areas. They were preparing for what they thought would be an unopposed landing. "Look at them," Yu-Jin said quietly to her crew. "They think they're so clever. They think their cyber attacks forced us into silence, never realizing we chose to go quiet. They think they're claiming an empty prize, never imagining what's waiting for them." A larger vessel moved into position directly above what used to be Seoul. Its size suggested it was probably a command ship, coordinating the planned invasion. Yu-Jin watched it carefully, knowing that somewhere inside, alien commanders were probably congratulating themselves on their easy victory. "Incoming transmission from General Kim," Jisoo announced. "All observation posts are to begin recording detailed scans of enemy vessel positions and configurations. They want everything documented for the historical records." Yu-Jin nodded, understanding the importance. When this is over, everyone should know how close they came to victory, and how their own arrogance defeated them. Through the viewport, Earth continued its eternal rotation, clouds swirling across its surface in peaceful patterns. The alien fleet gathered above it like hungry predators, unaware that they were actually the prey. Humanity's greatest deception was about to reach its climax. "Let them come closer," Yu-Jin said, settling back into her command chair. "Let them think they've won. Soon enough, they'll learn what happens when you underestimate humanity." The observation post maintained its silent vigil as more alien ships arrived, each one moving into position with obvious confidence. The trap was almost ready to spring, but timing would be everything. Yu-Jin and her crew watched and waited, knowing that their part in this great deception would soon become a crucial chapter in human history. The quiet of space shattered as General Sang Hee's voice rang through every human communication channel. "Execute Operation Rising Dawn." Her words triggered humanity's most ambitious military operation in history. High in Earth's orbit, Captain Kang Min-ho sat in the command chair of the Silent Thunder, one of Earth's new hybrid warships. His vessel, along with hundreds of others, had waited invisibly among the debris of old satellites and space junk, their quantum cloaking systems making them completely undetectable to alien scanners. "All weapons systems online," his tactical officer reported. "Quantum shields at full power. All squadrons report ready." Min-ho watched the alien fleet on his displays, their ships still arranged in their arrogant, exposed formation. "Broadcast on all frequencies," he commanded. "Let them hear us now." Across Earth, humanity's hidden forces sprang into action. In the Siberian wilderness, massive doors disguised as mountainsides slid open, revealing squadrons of fighter craft. From beneath the Pacific Ocean, advanced submarines broke the surface, their hulls incorporating reverse-engineered alien technology. Hidden bases in the Sahara, the Rockies, and the Australian outback revealed their true nature as launch facilities. For humanity, Min-ho's voice boomed across all communication channels, heard by both human forces and stunned alien crews. The Silent Thunder's cloaking field dropped, revealing its sleek, dangerous form. Around it, hundreds of other ships appeared, their weapons already locked on target. The coalition fleet had no time to react. The first wave of human attacks struck with devastating precision. Quantum-enhanced weapons, designed specifically to penetrate alien shields, tore through the unprepared vessels. The Silent Thunder led the charge, its main guns firing brilliant beams of energy that cut through 3 alien ships in rapid succession. "Multiple direct hits," the tactical officer shouted. "Enemy vessels are attempting to raise shields, but our weapons are breaking through." From Earth's surface, massive railguns that had been hidden under abandoned cities opened fire, launching projectiles at near-light speed into the alien fleet. The oceans churned as submarine-launched missiles burst from the waves, their warheads enhanced with stolen alien technology. Minho watched as the carefully choreographed attack unfolded. Years of planning and preparation were paying off as the coalition fleet scrambled to respond to threats appearing from all directions. Their tight formation, so impressive moments ago, now made them perfect targets. "Second wave, launch now," he commanded. More cloaked ships appeared, these carrying squadrons of fighters that poured from their launch bays. The small, agile craft darted between the larger alien vessels, targeting engines and weapons systems with surgical precision. In the chaos, alien communications filled the airwaves. Where did they come from? How did we not detect them? Raise shields. Raise shields. Their panic was evident in every transmission. The orbital platforms that had laid dormant for years activated, their weapon systems targeting the largest alien vessels. These platforms, positioned perfectly during the years of preparation, now revealed their true purpose as they fired synchronized volleys into the heart of the coalition fleet. Minho's ship rocked slightly as it absorbed return fire from one of the few alien vessels that had managed to bring its weapons online. Shields holding at 98%, his engineering officer reported. Their weapons are exactly as our intelligence suggested. From his command chair, Minho could see the tide of battle turning. The coalition fleet, caught completely by surprise, was failing to mount an effective defense. Their ships, designed for overwhelming force against a defeated enemy, proved vulnerable to the specifically tailored human weapons. All ships pressed the advantage. Minho ordered, "Don't let them regroup." The human fleet moved with practiced precision, executing maneuvers they had rehearsed countless times in hidden training facilities. Below, on Earth's surface, more hidden facilities revealed themselves. Anti-orbital defense batteries emerged from their camouflaged positions, adding their firepower to the assault. The seemingly abandoned planet had transformed into a deadly weapons platform, with every continent contributing to the attack. Through his viewport, Minho watched as another alien capital ship erupted in flames, its hull breached in multiple places by coordinated strikes. The Coalition's proud fleet was being systematically torn apart by an enemy they had foolishly underestimated. "General Sang-Yi is signaling all forces," his communications officer announced. "Phase 2 of Rising Dawn is to commence immediately." Minho nodded, knowing that across Earth's orbit, hundreds of other ship captains were receiving the same order. The first phase had been about revealing their presence and striking hard. Now came the carefully planned follow-up that would turn this surprise attack into a decisive victory. The Silent Thunder's engines flared as it moved into position for the next phase of battle. Around it, the rest of humanity's fleet formed up, preparing to show the Coalition that humanity's silence had hidden not weakness, but strength. Smoke filled the bridge of the Coalition flagship as Admiral Ta-1 staggered to maintain his balance. His tentacles writhed in distress as another explosion rocked the massive vessel. Around him, warning signals blared and crew members rushed to contain the damage spreading through their once proud ship. "Status report," he demanded, his voice carrying both rage and disbelief. The holographic displays flickered, showing the devastating losses his fleet was suffering. Dozens of Coalition ships lay broken and burning, while others fled in panic from the relentless human assault. Multiple hull breaches on decks 3 through 7, a crew member reported, their crystalline body flashing warning colors. "Our shields are failing. We've lost contact with the entire Eastern battle group." Through the viewport, Ta-1 watched in horror as another of his capital ships split apart under concentrated fire from 3 human vessels. The strange, sleek ships moved with impossible precision, their weapons cutting through Coalition defenses as if they weren't even there. "Impossible," he roared, slamming his tentacles against the command console. Their civilization was silent. "Defeated. Our intelligence confirmed it." Even as he spoke, more human ships appeared from nowhere, their cloaking technology making a mockery of Coalition sensors. Aboard her command vessel, Earth's Vengeance, General Sang-Yi stood calmly at the center of a bustling command center. Holographic displays surrounded her, showing the battle unfolding across the entire solar system. Her forces were executing their plans perfectly, driving the alien fleet back with ruthless efficiency. "Target their command and control ships," she ordered, pointing to specific enemy vessels on the tactical display. "Don't let them coordinate their responses. Keep them scattered and confused." The battle space around Earth had transformed into a graveyard of coalition ships. The aliens' superior numbers meant nothing against humanity's carefully planned ambush. Years of studying alien technology, combined with human ingenuity, had produced weapons specifically designed to counter coalition defenses. Another explosion lit up space as a coalition carrier succumbed to multiple torpedo hits. The massive ship broke apart, its escape pods launching in all directions. Sang-He watched without emotion as her forces moved to the next phase of the battle plan. "Ma'am," her tactical officer reported, "the enemy fleet is attempting to regroup near lunar orbit. They're trying to establish a defensive line." Sang-He smiled grimly. "Perfect. Signal the lunar bases. Spring the second trap." Hidden bases on the moon's surface suddenly revealed themselves, massive weapon arrays emerging from the crater shadows. The coalition ships, attempting to find safety near the moon, found themselves caught in a deadly crossfire between the lunar batteries and Earth's advancing fleet. Admiral Ta One's flagship shuddered as another hit penetrated their weakened shields. "How?" he demanded of no one in particular. "How did they hide all this? Our surveillance was perfect." On his primary screen, he watched helplessly as more human ships emerged from cloaking fields. Their weapons technology was clearly based on coalition designs, but modified and improved in ways his scientists had never considered. "Sir," his second-in-command approached, her feathers singed from a nearby electrical fire. "We must retreat. The humans, they're pushing us back systematically. This was all planned. They wanted us to come here." Back on Earth's vengeance, Sang-He issued her next command. "All forces, execute Phase 3. Push them back past Mars. Show them why you never mistake humanity's silence for weakness." The human fleet moved as one, their formation splitting the retreating coalition forces into smaller, more vulnerable groups. Ships that had been designed and built in secret underground facilities now proved their worth, their hybrid technology overwhelming the aliens' defenses. "The coalition flagship is attempting to coordinate a counterattack," an officer reported to Sang-He. "Should we target it specifically?" "No," she replied, studying the tactical display. "Let them watch. Let them see exactly what they've awakened. Signal all commands. Drive them out of our solar system." Admiral Ta One watched in despair as his fleet broke apart under the human onslaught. Ships that had proudly served in countless conquests now fled in terror from an enemy they had grievously underestimated. His own flagship, once the pride of the coalition fleet, limped away from Earth, its engines struggling to maintain power. "Send word to Supreme Commander Haynul," he ordered, his voice heavy with defeat. "The humans, they deceived us. This was all a trap. Their silence wasn't submission. It was preparation for war." The battle continued across space as humanity's forces methodically pushed the invaders back. The solar system, which the coalition had thought would be an easy conquest, had become their worst nightmare. Their mighty fleet, which had never known defeat, was being systematically destroyed by an enemy they had foolishly dismissed. The massive coalition command carrier, Eternal Dominion, drifted helplessly in space, its engines crippled by precise human strikes. Colonel Park Do-hyun stood in the airlock chamber of his assault ship, checking his tactical display one last time as his boarding team prepared for action. "Breach points identified," his squad leader reported, highlighting 3 locations on the alien vessel's hull. "Their internal defenses are down. Now's our chance." Do-hyun looked at the soldiers around him. 30 of Earth's finest, wearing advanced combat suits that combined human innovation with reversed engineered alien technology. They had trained for this moment for years, practicing in mock-ups built from stolen coalition design specs. "Remember your training," he said, his voice calm and steady in their helmet communications. "We know their ship better than they do. We've studied every corridor, every defense system, every potential ambush point." The assault ship maneuvered closer to the damaged carrier, using precision thrusters to align with the chosen entry points. Through the viewport, Du-hyun could see the scars of battle across the alien vessel's hull, evidence of humanity's devastating surprise attack. "Cutting teams, begin breach," he ordered. 3 teams moved forward, their plasma cutters making short work of the carrier's outer hull. The aliens had never expected anyone to board their ships. Their internal security systems were pathetically inadequate. As the hull plates fell away, Du-hyun led the first team through the breach. Their boots magnetized to the deck as they entered the alien corridor, weapons ready. The interior was vast, designed for beings much larger than humans, but this too had been accounted for in their training. They never understood, he told his squad as they moved deeper into the ship. "Every war in human history taught us something. Every battle made us stronger. While they watched us from orbit, thinking we were defeated, we studied them. We learned their weaknesses." The team encountered their first resistance, a group of coalition security forces rushing to defend their ship. But the aliens were confused, disorganized. They had never expected to fight inside their own vessel. Du-hyun's team moved with practiced precision, their weapons firing specialized rounds that pierced alien combat armor with ease. "Clear," called his point man as the last defender fell. Moving to next junction, they proceeded through the carrier's corridors, following a route they had memorized from countless simulations. Every few minutes, they planted small devices on key structural points, quantum charges that would ensure the carrier's destruction if their mission failed. "Bridge level ahead," his tactical officer reported. "Heavy resistance expected." Do-hyun nodded inside his helmet. "Just like we practiced." "Formation Delta. Remember, they're bigger than us, but we're faster and better prepared." The team split into 3 groups, approaching the bridge from different angles. Years of studying coalition ship designs had taught them every possible approach route. The aliens had never imagined their supposedly superior technology would be turned against them like this. As they reached the bridge entrance, Du-hyun held up his hand, signaling his troops to wait. "Listen," he said quietly. "Hear that? They're panicking. They don't know what to do when their technology fails them." Through the door, they could hear alien voices raised in argument. The universal translators in their suits picked up fragments of desperate discussion. Should they surrender? Try to self-destruct? Call for help that wouldn't come? "Execute breach now," Du-hyun commanded. His teams moved simultaneously, blasting through 3 different entrances to the bridge. The alien crew, caught completely by surprise, found themselves surrounded before they could react. "Your ship is taken," Du-hyun announced through his suit's translation system. "Surrender now, and you'll be treated according to human military law." The alien commander, a massive creature with tentacles and multiple eyes, stared at the human soldiers in disbelief. "How?" it demanded. "How did you defeat our technology? Our surveillance showed your civilization was ruined." Do-hyun stepped forward, his weapon trained steadily on the alien leader. "That's exactly what we wanted you to see. We used your own arrogance against you. While you watched us from orbit, thinking we were helpless, we prepared. We studied. We adapted. That's what humans do best." Around the bridge, his teams secured vital control systems and began downloading the carrier's database. Everything they learned here would help in the battles to come. The aliens had thought their technology made them invincible, but they had forgotten the most important lesson of warfare: never underestimate your enemy. "Signal the fleet," Du-hyun ordered his communications specialist. "Tell them the command carrier is secured. Prepare for prisoner transfer and data extraction." As his team worked, Du-hyun looked out through the carrier's main viewport. Earth was visible in the distance, beautiful and blue. The aliens had thought they could take it easily, but they had learned a harsh lesson instead. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't its technology or its weapons. It was the ability to learn, to adapt, and to turn an enemy's strengths into weaknesses. Deep beneath Mount Fuji, in the vast underground chamber of Earth's new global defense headquarters, history was being made. The room's quantum-enhanced lighting cast a soft glow over the assembled delegates from every nation on Earth, all gathered to witness this momentous occasion. Supreme Commander Haynewell's massive form towered over the signing table. The coalition leader's scales had lost their usual luster, and his tentacles moved slowly, signs of defeat in his species. Before him lay the formal surrender document, its text written in both Earth's major languages and the coalition's standard script. General Sang-Yi stood opposite him, her posture straight and proud. She wore her formal military uniform, decorated with the new insignia of the United Earth Defense Force. Around the chamber, representatives from every Earth nation watched in solemn silence. 1 month ago, Haynewell spoke through an advanced translator. We thought we were claiming a defeated world. We were wrong. His upper eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture of profound regret in his culture. The coalition has never suffered such a decisive defeat in its 1,000-year history. Sang-Yi nodded, remembering the battles that had led to this moment. You saw what we wanted you to see. While you watched us from orbit, thinking your cyber attacks had crippled us, we were preparing. The surrender document detailed the terms. The coalition would withdraw from Earth's solar system entirely. They would acknowledge Earth's independence and right to self-defense. Most importantly, they would inform the wider galactic community that Earth was not to be trifled with. Your strategy was remarkable, Haynewell admitted, his translator struggling to convey the complex emotions in his voice. 6 years of complete deception. You let us think we had won before we even attacked. Around the chamber, the Earth's delegates listened intently. These were the leaders who had worked together in secret, who had put aside ancient rivalries to face a common threat. Their underground cities, now revealed to the galaxy, stood as monuments to human unity and determination. We learned from our own history, Sang-Yi explained, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber. Humanity has faced overwhelming odds before. We've learned that sometimes appearing weak is the greatest strength. Haynewell's tentacles moved in a gesture of acknowledgement as he lifted the signing device. In all our conquests, we never encountered a species that could turn our own surveillance against us so completely. We thought your silence meant defeat. Instead, you used it to prepare the most devastating counterattack in coalition history. The device hummed as he pressed it to the document, encoding his genetic signature, the coalition's equivalent of a signature. The deed was done. Earth had won its independence, not through brute force, but through patience, planning, and unprecedented unity. Remember this lesson, Sang-Yi said, adding her own signature to the document. Earth is never defeated. We simply wait for the right moment to strike. The assembled delegates broke into applause, a sound that echoed through the underground chamber that had helped save humanity. In the month since the battle, the hidden cities had begun to emerge into the light. The technology developed in secret was now being used to advance Earth's civilization openly. Haynewell's guards shifted uncomfortably as camera drones recorded the historic moment. They had witnessed firsthand how effectively humans could fight when pushed too far. Their once mighty fleet had been reduced to less than a quarter of its original size, and those ships that survived would carry stories of Earth's devastating counterattack back to coalition space. There is one thing I must know, Haynewell said as the formal ceremony concluded. How did you maintain such perfect secrecy? Our surveillance covered every frequency, every possible communication method. Sang-Yi allowed herself a small smile. We developed quantum communications by studying debris from your earlier scout ships. While you watched our public channels go dark, we built an entirely new network you couldn't detect. Every silent day made you more confident, more certain of your victory. The Supreme Commander's scales shifted color, a sign of deep thought in his species. The Coalition will not forget this lesson, he said finally. Your species has earned its place among the stars, and our respect." As the alien delegation prepared to leave, Sang-He looked around the chamber one last time. This place, like thousands of other hidden facilities around the world, represented humanity's greatest achievement, not just the technology they'd developed, but the unity they'd found in the face of extinction. Earth would emerge from this stronger than ever, ready to take its place in the galactic community. Not as a conquered world, but as a power to be respected, and perhaps feared a little. Their silence had not been defeat. It had been the quiet before the storm, and the galaxy would long remember the lesson.